welcome to my kitchen. Today I've gone nuts. That's absolutely right. I am kind of crazy for nuts. So today I'm going to show you how to make two of my favorite nut and seed based condiments. They're a great meal prep item that's going to add tons of flavor because you're going to be able to use these incredibly flavorful, nutty, seedy, herby, spicy things to put onto foods, whether it's a plain old bowl of rice or some cooked vegetables or a salad or a bread. It's all going to be so much more enhanced because we're going to make Dukkah and we're going to make Gomasio, two of my absolute favorites. Dukkah is the Egyptian condiment. Dukkah is actually Arabic for pounded. We're not going to pound. I've got a grinder, so we don't have to do that. Electricity is very, very helpful. So I'm going to make a Dukkah made from toasted nuts and spices. Then I'm going to move in the Japanese direction and make Gomasio, which is a traditional toasted sesame and salt mixture, which I'm going to gussy up a little bit with a few other seeds because, you know, I just kind of can't help myself. I like to customize things. And besides, you know, when you come here, it's all about the flavor. So to get started on my Dukkah, I'm going to put these hazelnuts in the oven for 15 minutes. And then I'm going to take a bigger pan and I'm going to put some shelled pistachios, raw sunflower seeds, coriander seeds, cumin seeds. I know, this is shaping up, isn't it? It's going to be so good. And then black peppercorns. And I'm going to toast those for 10 minutes. And I'm going to toast the hazelnuts for 15. So I'll be back when they are done. I'm back, and here we have our gorgeous toasted nuts. I wish you could smell this. If only there was smell-orama. Cumin, coriander, sunflower seeds, black pepper, pistachios, toasted, lovely, lovely. And then I've got my hazelnuts, which are toasted. I'm going to show you how to get the skins off. So these have just cooled enough that I'm going to do a little bit of the grinding. So what I like to do is do the nuts and seeds just half coarse and half fine. So I'm just throwing them in this pretty well done there. So now I'm going to put the other half in and just pulse it a little bit. And it's all good either way. It's just a nice texture to have some chunks in there, as you can see. And you could do this in the blender just by pulsing it on and off. And I'll just put these spices. You see, I can just use the paper to lift them off the pan. And toasting spices is one of those things that we sort of forget to do because it's easy to just put your spices in untoasted. But toasting them makes a huge difference in the flavor. So I'm going to grind the spices. Oh, again, I wish you could smell this incredible, just intoxicating mixture here. The bonus lesson today is I'm going to peel or skin the hazelnuts. Now this is what they looked like raw, and you can see they have a tight little brown skin. So after toasting for 15 minutes, the skins start to come off. And this is a small enough amount. Sometimes I just rub those by hand, but you just put the warm nuts. Now these are not burning hot. They're pretty hot, but they're not burning hot. And see how just rubbing them a little bit in the towel has taken those skins off. So you just leave those skins behind because they're bitter, and put these guys right into the grinder. And I'm just going to give them a little bit of a pulse when it's time because I want them to be nice and chunky. Oh, this is just so unbelievably good. And I'm going to use a nice salt that I bought. It's a Hawaiian sea salt. It doesn't look like much. It's just a plain looking salt. So then, see, the hazelnut skins are wrapped up in this towel, which I can get rid of. So I'm going to put the lid back on here and just give it a few pulses. And add that to the rest. Scrape it out. And then I'm going to stir in some paprika and this beautiful salt. So this one, it's not so much just a salt with nuts, it's a whole seasoning mix. Oh, there's a few chunky ones in there. So I'm going to put a little bit of this into a bowl, a little square bowl. And next to it, because I cannot wait to try it, a little bit of good olive oil. And then I have, and this is actually naan bread, but a pita, a flat bread. Just can't wait to try this. Still warm, just so fragrant. Oh, look at this. Look at that. So who's going to eat plain bread when you've got this? All the spices, all the nuts, all the seeds, the crunch. Unbelievable. Get a pan heated up so that I can toast some sesame seeds. Now I'm doing these on the stove. This is sort of a more traditional way to do it. Now, I've read that the reason it was originally always the salt and the sesame seeds were toasted together in the pan, and the question was always sort of like, why toast the salt? Salt doesn't get a toasty flavor. And that it was actually because the salt, the original sea salt in Japan was actually sometimes kind of wet. And in antiquity, or sometimes even now, I've bought salts that seemed kind of wet. So I'm going to just stir it around a little bit over some heat. It's pretty high heat, and it's just going to be until I start seeing some oiliness and again the toasty smell from the seeds. Now this one I'm embellishing with hemp seed, which if you haven't heard about hemp seed. You know, hemp is all the rage, whether it's, you know, CBD oil or hemp in food. And so these are just lovely hemp seeds, which are in fact a traditional Japanese food as well. I have seen very old sushi recipes where hemp seed was a garnish. And then this is, of course, black chia, which is another incredibly healthy, fun little seed. So if you were wondering, like, wow, I have this healthy hemp and this healthy chia, what do I really do with them? We'll throw them into some Gomasio. So here I'm just swirling it. I don't know if you can hear it starting to crackle, crackle, crackle. And that's really all we need is a little crackling, a little browning, a little toasting. Oh, they're starting to pop. So I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to transfer the seeds a half at the time about into the grinder. And again, I'm not making tahini. So I want a little texture to remain. Oh, it's so yummy. Just the smell of sesame seeds just takes me back. I first learned to make Gomasio at a restaurant where we put it out as a condiment, and people ate huge amounts of it. We made it on giant sheet pans and baked it in the oven and served really plain things like brown rice and tofu. And once you put a little Gomasio on there, it was just a meal fit for a king. So now I'm just going to put the hemp seeds and chia seeds into the grinder for just one pulse, just to kind of crack it just a bit, maybe two. Because I don't want butter, and I just want those to be cracked enough to release a little bit of, you know, their flavor. And oh, look at that. So here we have a whole bowl of Gomasio. And I cook one of my favorite things to eat with Gomasio, which is some black rice. I'm going to put a little black rice in a bowl, because this is really a meal. And you get a little black rice, and then you put some Gomasio over the top, and I can even eat it with some chopsticks. Oh, it's so nostalgic to me. So this Gomasio, it's got that little bit of crunch, that fantastic sesame flavor. It makes this little bowl of black rice into an elegant meal, a great little lunch. So I've got my two powerhouse condiments, and I got a little jar where I can just put my Gomasio right into this little jar, keep it in the refrigerator, and whenever I'm just standing there looking at some boring leftover for lunch, I can say, aha, I have Gomasio. I have Dukkah. I can throw that onto some leftovers. I can throw that onto a salad. I can put it on a sandwich, because that's how crazy we can get. But it's just a wonderful prep item and a way to add tons of flavor to your meals, because, as you know, when you come to my kitchen, it's all about the flavor. Thank you for coming.